long-term roadmap is to basically increase the amount of data that the Ethereum chain can hold up to somewhere around 16 megabytes every slot, right? And today, the average block is only about 80 kilobytes, so like massively increasing the amount of data that the Ethereum chain can hold. And it's done over the next a couple of stages. Proto-date sharding is the first stage, and even proto-date sharding by itself is going to be a big improvement over how much data the Ethereum chain can hold today. Now, at the same time as improving how much data the Ethereum chain can hold, there's also another effort that's happening at the same time, which is improving how much data rollups use, right? So this is so data compression in rollups. This is something that I've talked for a long time about as something that really needs to happen. Basically, trying to pack a much larger number of transactions into a much smaller amount of space, so that we just get a big scalability gain for free, right? We can pack more transactions without really having to spend more resources at all. So this is just this chart that I published about a week ago that kind of shows the different stages and like how much you could do, right? So a transaction by itself, this is an ERC20 token transfer, takes about 188 bytes. And if you add like different forms of compression, so taking out 0 bytes gets you down to 154 bytes, doing some signature aggregation takes you down to 128, making stateless compression even better, 75, and then even more advanced compression that kind of where the decompression algorithm can look into the chain and look into the history, you can go all the way down to 23, right? So there's like a lot of this work is work that's actually started to happen. So a couple of months ago, Optimism actually implemented a 0 byte compression. And ERC4337 is also an effort that's been really picking up steam over the last couple of months, right? So a lot of effort to help the Ethereum chain hold a lot more data, and a lot of effort to help every individual transaction in a rollup use less data. So we're talking about Ethereum over the next couple of years being able to process a much larger amount of transactions than it has been able to before, right? So what do these two things mean for Ethereum, right? So these are not the only two technical upgrades that are happening to Ethereum, but there's probably the two most important ones, right? But what does this actually mean for Ethereum from the point of view of someone using it or someone building on it? So starting off with the merge, right? So the merge is going to happen first. So Ethereum's energy consumption will be reduced by more than 99.9%. It's big improvements, obviously. In addition to this, there's a bunch of ways in which proof of stake improves security, and also the merge opens the door to more upgrades, right? So at the same time as being a switch from proof of work to proof of stake, it's also an opportunity to kind of take some of the ideas that we've learned over the last 8 years and use that to really redesign what the different parts of the Ethereum chain. So like for example, the merge will also make Ethereum much more friendly to light clients, right? So today, if you want to access the Ethereum chain, most people generally use some wallet like MetaMask, and the way those wallets work is they talk to a server and they basically trust whatever answers the server gives them. So with light clients after the merge, once that tech is developed, you will be able to basically have a client that actually verifies the data that it gets back. So basically, the merge isn't just about the merge is also about other things down the line that the merge is going to enable. So that's the merge. Proto-date sharding, so opens up more data space, transactions will become cheaper, and compression means that transactions get even cheaper again, right? Cheap, 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 yay. I know there's inflation and 8.5% and gas prices are going up, but here gas prices are going down. So what can we do with a safer blockchain and cheaper transactions, right? I think this is probably the big question. So probably one of the big and really important things is just lower transaction fees are the thing and the only thing that can make blockchains affordable for anyone, right? So median income per day in Canada, at least according to the data at this link here, is about $113. So this is all in US dollars, just to kind of put all the different countries in the same unit. In Poland, median income per day is $42. In Mongolia, it goes down to $16. And in Zambia, it goes down to $4, right? So very big differences. And we can compare against these numbers average transaction fees on Ethereum for the last couple of years. Now, obviously, they've gone up and down a lot, but generally, they've been somewhere in between $1 and $20, right? Now, today, Ethereum transaction fees are fortunately a bit lower, but that's because we're in a bit of a bear market, at least relative to 2021. So that's obviously not something that we can count on, right? Like it's like basically, if if we see one of these bull cycles pop up again anytime soon, then even the cheap transaction fees that we see today, it's not going to happen, or fees are going to go crazy again, right? So that's on the Ethereum base layer, right? And if you take, let's say, the middle of that range, like would take about $5, then you can see how to a lot of Canadians it can be affordable to send blockchain transactions for a lot of applications, but if we're talking about blockchains being this global thing that's supposed to empower people who are not empowered today in underprivileged countries, then you can see how it starts looking less viable, right? Because we're talking about single transactions potentially taking up people's entire daily income. And one of the things that you actually see if you visit some of these places, as we have, right, is that a lot of the time people do love blockchains, they do love cryptocurrency. I should say they love cryptocurrency, but they don't love blockchains. That's probably the way to put it, right? Because what you actually see often enough is that people have cryptocurrency, but they have it in Binance wallets, right? Like you even see, entire ecosystems where it's just accepted that everyone has a Binance wallet, and like sending from a Binance wallet to a Binance wallet is the way that you make transactions, right? So why does this happen? Well, obviously, right? If the blockchain is too expensive, people are going to look for something else. That's just a fact, and it's a fact that we have to deal with. And so, if we wants to have a world where we can have blockchain activity happening without needing to trust centralized exchanges for everything, then we just have to learn how to make blockchains cheaper. Now, today with rollups, it's already sometimes 25 cents, sometimes less than 25 cents. And if you just analyze what's going to happen as a result of the improvements to rollups that I mentioned in the future, then we're talking about potential fees of maybe 5 cents or maybe even as low as 0.2 cents. So massively cheaper transactions to the point where the on-chain transactions actually will become affordable for lots of people for whom they're not affordable today.